Hi, and welcome to episode 7 of Red Diaries. Tonight's episode is about erotica, porn, and music in less than 10 minutes tonight. So, today I was having a conversation with a good friend of mine, and she's watched the first few episodes and was a little disappointed, actually. She felt that, as I already know, I go off on my tangents, which I understand, and I'm open to constructive criticism. But she also was just disappointed because she had a different mindset. She thought I was going to get into the mechanics, go right into, say, the genitalia and how to go through the actual physical part of the orgasm. But again, I really feel that for women especially, it really does begin with the mind and the emotions and getting us comfortable. So I will say tomorrow I am going to break out my vibrator, and I'm not going to demonstrate it on myself or anyone else, but I will give more actual tips as to, or suggestions of what to do with a vibrator or other sex toys, but those will soon come. But tomorrow is going to be a vibrator day. Another thing that she mentioned is that so far the suggestions that she's heard me make and things that have worked for me to stimulate myself aren't things that she does. And so I'd like to mention erotica. I did say about certain movies that I like Red Diaries, that when I was a kid, they're more erotic based as opposed to, say, porn, more geared towards, a lot of pornography is geared towards men, and a lot more erotica is geared towards women. However, which I'm saying on my friend's behalf, is that she felt wrong, and she really wanted me to mention something about women getting past a stigma that porn isn't for them, and that there's a whole slew of pornography. However, I will say, I'm going to interject my own feelings here. So the gamut is wide, and whether I say the range, it runs the gamut. It's huge in terms of all that's out here. I've watched porn. I remember seeing my brother's porn when I was a kid, but it simply don't appeal to me. I like a plot. I like more sensuality, and actually, say in terms of erotica, I prefer films that are geared towards lesbians, because they tend to, just do a lot of things that women like. Not the women in the films themselves, but just say as a filmmaker, even though I'm not a lesbian, I just love how they pay more attention to the color and the sound and the feel and, the plot and things like that. And I've known other women to feel the same. So, okay, but speaking on behalf of my friend and other women who might feel similarly, and those, say, who have, certain fetishes, my point is, find a search. If you've been curious about porn, forget what anyone else has ever told you about, what it represents. With men, I'm going to just go ahead and say, proceed with caution, because they can give you ideas, but they are staged, and especially the woman orgasming. So oftentimes I feel like it's good for fun, for sure, and to stimulate. But a complaint that I do hear from women in regards to porn is that they're expected to perform like a porn star, and that can take away from the feelings that are involved, the comfort, the trust, the love, and the care. But say in my friend's case, that's what she does to get off, to orgasm. She's never had an orgasm with another person, and her orgasmic experiences are on her own, to her, are far better than any sexual experiences. I won't say far better. She just says it's better than the sexual experiences she's had with other people, though she's had great sex with other people. And same with another friend I know. She watches lesbian porn, not erotic or lesbian movies, but actual just porn with lesbians, even though she's not a lesbian either. But that's just what gets her off. And you know, I've known people with foot fetishes, more men than women, but you know, it's a thing. And people have food fetishes where some can't stand the sight of people doing a food fight. But whatever it is, go for it. So the same friend also mentioned erotica, and I love erotica too. Actually, I used to write erotica all the time with a friend of mine. We would go back and forth fantasizing about a particular guy. And funny enough, when I Googled Red Phoenix to see if there was another person affiliated with that name, there is a woman whose name is Red Phoenix, or who goes by the name Red Phoenix. I think Red Brianna Phoenix on Facebook. And she does a lot of BDSM, which I believe stands for bondage, maybe something domination. I'm not sure. I think sadist, masochist, but yeah, basically, you know, submissive, dominant types. And again, it's not my twist, but if you have an interest, check it out. You could go to a sex store or go online and just explore. You know, if you want to get some nipple clamps or handcuffs, and apparently there's special tape. I overheard someone talk about this special tape that you can use to tie each other up so it doesn't hurt your skin and taking it off. There's all kinds of things. Like the last time I went to a sex store, I was surprised that there's a body spray to incite pheromones, so that, you know, you're more appealing to other people without them even knowing it. So there's a whole host of things to explore, and that's what I'm doing my best to encourage. So I'm sharing my own stories along the way, but I'm only giving suggestions, and if you have more suggestions, or if you want me to feature certain things or look into it for you and tell my opinion or ask others about it and have a show about it, go ahead and write to me at redtruediaries@gmail.com, and I will go ahead and mention it in future shows or ask around, because basically I'm looking to generate conversation about these things, because I feel like not enough conversations are being had, that a lot of female needs are being neglected. Oftentimes, women ourselves, we tend to, you know, push ourselves by the wayside and say, oh no, we're not that important. Myself too, like, oh no, don't worry about my orgasm, I'm good, you know. But now I'm with certain partners, and just as I get older and know myself better and could communicate my needs better and want to make them important, I'm getting better at sharing those experiences, you know, more often with my partner, and saying if that person isn't into it, you know, oh well, maybe that is potentially a deal breaker. It depends on, you know, to what extent. And I've mentioned a TED Talk by Jane Langton before, where she talks, it's called Emotion for Masturbation, and one insightful thing that I got from it was that it's common. I mean, she teaches people about masturbation, yet when she had her first, after being very good at it, had her first with another person, that it took her longer than normal. And that has happened to me at times. And it's just nice to know, to hear from another person, like, oh, it is common that even though you can have an orgasm within 5 to 10 minutes on your own, when with another person, it can take a lot longer and feel like forever, and give us a degree of performance anxiety, to the point where, you know, at times I've just been like, you know what, never mind, don't worry about it, or just make me not as prone to, you know, invite that into my lovemaking sessions with people. But it is important. I do want to share that at times, and it's not the goal, but it's just nice to include. I don't want to keep, you know, having that be a separate part of my life. Not the orgasms themselves, but, you know, paying more attention to me and my wants and needs. So which brings me on to 2 more things. And oh man, we're already at 9 minutes. Okay, so what? Actually, I'll save this for another time. So tomorrow I'll talk about what someone else told me too. Was a man. He said, you know, I love your videos, but a question that I have is, what can a man do to satisfy me? Thinking that just because I can satisfy myself so well sexually, and that I am an empowered woman that way, what does he bring to the table? How can he contribute? And I can understand this. I think that's why it can be intimidating for some guys. But just to give, say, a taste of what I will talk about later is, say, for one, I can't kiss myself. I can't kiss my own neck. And no matter what, you as a person is the greatest gift, and especially for women, the slightest touch. touching hands. Actually, and I know this is true for guys too, but in terms of bringing women to orgasm or pleasure, it really can oftentimes be the simple things, but especially when you have some type of mental and emotional connection. I know I felt like I could orgasm just from neck kissing, though I haven't. I have heard some people can orgasm just from kissing on the mouth or on the neck because we're extremely sensitive all over our body. Like for women, it tends to be, take your time and go slowly towards the genitalia. Whereas for men, oftentimes they would like you to go straight for it, but it's up to us to say, calm them down. Say, go ahead and go right for their penis if that's what you're feeling and that's what they want. But have them slow down, and hopefully men, be willing to slow down. So I'm going to end with showing how something that, this is an analogy or a metaphor, about how I didn't used to be able to play guitar, that, just because you haven't done this yet, you might be grown. Like my aunt didn't have an orgasm until she was 50 years old. I bought her a vibrator and she started having orgasms, and it, opened her world. She had, people had performed oral sex on her. She had great sex. She was an exotic dancer, actually. I couldn't say that too, but it wasn't until her 50s that she had an orgasm. And I'd always loved music, and it wasn't until 10 years ago when a friend left her guitar with me that I began to teach myself. And changing chords was so tough, but I'm just going to show, like, now, I don't even have to look. Favorites that I wanted to show is doing this. I'm still not a master, say 10 years later, but the fact that I can do this while talking blows my mind. And you too, before you know it, will be blowing your own mind. And I like to leave with just one of my favorite quotes, because though I know everyone is different, some turned on by visuals, some by sounds, some by touch, some by taste, and I'm even stimulated by meditation. But key point is learning, exploring what works for you, and also be open to helping another person explore themselves intimately, safely. So the quote I'm going to leave and the show with tonight is by Beethoven. Music is the mediator between the spiritual and sensual life. Please have fun exploring in the meantime until we meet again. I love you. Thank you for watching and listening.